Hey there everyone, today we're going to start playing Blaster Master Zero on the Nintendo Switch. This is an awesome game. I've already played through it a couple of times. In the near future on planet Earth. There's a whole lot of crazy... I think they threw a lot of extra story in here, more than there needed to be. After countless wars and untold environmental destruction, the planet plunged into an ice age. Humanity was left with no choice but to migrate en masse underground. So it's supposed to be like the world ravaged by war. Everybody goes underground. When the ice age finally comes to an end, humans come back. You know, they come back up, and then it's like what takes place starts then. I don't know, why didn't you just start the game from the beginning? I don't think that a lot of this was necessary. Still cool. I love the creativity. I don't ever want to sound like I'm bashing creativity, but there's a point where you don't need it all. Jason Frudnick. I can honestly say I've never heard that name before. I love his t-shirt. It kind of looks like looks a little bit like the original background of the game. Not much, but kind of reminds me of Rygar. If you ever played Rygar on the Nintendo, I don't know why the color scheme and everything, not even the color scheme, I should say, just something about it just reminds me of Rygar. Another great game. Okay, so this game it's a remake of the original Nintendo game, which the Japanese version had more story, but I don't think it had this much. The US game, all it had was some kid named Jason had a pet frog. The pet frog got away from him, jumped into a hole, not even like a vortex like this is, jumped into a hole. Jason, I don't remember if he went down after him or if he fell after him, like he was looking to see and he fell. Finds this car, gets in the car, and decides, this is how I'm going to find my frog, to get into this very cool looking vehicle. So I can't even say that I wouldn't have gotten into the vehicle. But yeah, and then that was like it. And then there were mutants and monsters and stuff, and then that's it. And then it's a solo game. It's Metroid in that sense. All right. So we're gonna start. Let's pick an empty slot here. Cool music, man. I did a little stream of this just to test out streaming, which worked sort of well enough. It's one of those things where if I do stream with this capture card that I have, it's gonna be every once in a while you have to refresh the audio. The commentary was desyncing. Very simple. Button to jump, button to shoot. It's weird. I've played through this a couple of times, so being so underpowered is always so weird. So yeah, it's basically a standard, not platformer, your standard side-scrolling adventure. But with some really cool twists put into it. There were a couple of other games. I know there was a Blaster Master 2 on Genesis, and then I think PS1 had Blaster Master Blastin' Again or something, which I'm not sure I ever played it. I don't remember playing it or not. Blah, blah, blah. It's telling you've got some sort of receiver signal, and it's kind of pointless. All right, so when you get to certain points, you can hop out of your car, and then that's how the game is played, like this. You walk around in here, and then there's these little, I guess you could sort of think of them like mini dungeons. They gave him a lot more functionality from the original Nintendo game. Here we go. Those are the gun power-ups. They handle the gun very interestingly here. I'm going to wait till I get a couple more power-ups so you can see. If you see in the upper left, the yellow gauge is my energy, and the G is for gun. Perfect. Okay. Let's clear out some of these rocks, get a few more. I know there's another gun power-up somewhere in here. There we go. I hope there's another gun power-up somewhere in here. Okay, so the way the gun works, you see how the meter is up. The first thing is green, sort of a greenish, and then the next ones are pink. You can cycle through if you just hit the L button. Yeah, the L button. So you see it moving over. Or if you hold the L button, it'll bring up the menu. These right here with the 10, they are grenades, and you'll get more power-ups for powers for those. The way it works is you pick a weapon that you want. So we're on that. That goes through walls. Every time you get hit, you lose a bit of health, and you lose a bit of you lose 1 unit of gun power. The gun doesn't do anything out here. I kind of thought that stunk. I think your gun should be more powerful out here. But you lose 1 bit of gun power also. You will keep the weapon as long as you have like enough energy to be at that level. Oh wait, hold on. Here's the map. Okay, you see on the map, the little arches are the little yellow arches. I'm at one now. There goes my little car. The little arches are the little mini dungeons. The ones with the faces on them have little mini bosses and items in them. Pretty much all of those are the ones that are needed to get 100% in this game, because there is a 100% ending. You need those little dungeons. There'll be ones with different items. You need the items from there. And then if you see right above where I am, the little green circle, that means there's a health power up there. They count towards the 100% also, I believe. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the map. I talk to people so many times who, oh, I don't like looking at the map. Come on, man, it's there for a reason. But yeah, we'll look at the map. We're gonna do 100%, but we're gonna streamline the whole process. And get out. It's quicker to swim, but I like my car. Getting hit out here does not reduce your gun power up. So yeah, if you look at my gun power up now, if you see where I am, where the green, and then I've got one more pink next to it, to the right of it. If I get hit, I'll still have this gun because I'll still have enough level for that. It's a very interesting mechanic. It was a little weird to me at first. I actually think it's pretty cool though. Okay, there we go. More gun power up. If you get the last gun is ridiculously strong. There's some pretty cool. When we get max power, when we get max gun, we'll go through. I'll cycle through all the different weapons. Those little, they look like treasure chests. They're ammo for your sub weapon. So like the grenades and stuff like that. Like I said, we'll get some different ones later on. I don't remember what boss this is. Okay, this is... Most of these little mini bosses are variations on the enemies that you normally fight. Let's go with the shotgun. It's super slow, but it's pretty strong. Oh. So you see, I lost a level, but I'm still... Oh, there we go. All right, let's the wave. Don't want to get hit with this baby on. So how's everybody doing? I had, as of this recording, just before this recording, I had a pretty rough weekend, so you know, I wanted to record this game sooner, but just things happened. I won't really get into it, but things didn't line up very well, and if I tried to do a recording, it just would have been just a depressed 3 hours of playthrough commentary. So there was really no point in doing it, but I'm feeling a little bit better, so I decided let me try and do some recording. You know, if I feel, you know, feel kind of crummy, I won't bother. I won't continue, I should say, but you know, I'm feeling okay. You know, I grew up playing video games, so a lot of the time when I feel bad, video games have always been a great way for me to get over what's bugging me. Thunderbreaker, this is a weapon for the car. You get different weapons for the cars, and you get different weapons for him, for Jason. But yeah, video games were always, you know, a great way for me to just escape. You know, I hate to use the word escape because it sounds bad. Like when people say escapism, oops, it always sounds really bad, like they're running away from their problems. But really, like, you kind of have to sometimes, you know. If you want to call it escapism, fine. If you want to call it running away from your problems, yeah, you kind of have to do that every once in a while. You know, if you're, you know, we've gone to school, we've taken tests, we've studied for tests, and it's always the same thing. That's the first weapon that I started with. And that uses, oh, the blue bar on the outside is different from the gun bar. So it'll use up energy. We'll get more into that when we get something really cool. But, you know, we've taken tests, and when you take a test, you're supposed to study. But you're not supposed to study to the point, you know, right up to the test. Excuse me. You're not supposed to study right up until the test. You're supposed to study the night before, you know, some of the day, and you're supposed to take a break. You gotta let some of that stuff sink in. You gotta, let's see, what else is here? I'll tell you what, let's go for some of the other stuff first. You gotta relax every once in a while and separate yourself from whatever's going on in your life to escape into something that you really like to do. You know, sometimes that's playing video games. You know, I never understood the people who playing video games is a waste of time. If you enjoy it, it's not a waste of time, first of all. If it helps you to cope with the crap that we all seem to go through in our lives, then it's definitely not a waste of time. And, you know, the people I have the biggest problem with that say things like that blatantly have hobbies that are the same. You know, I won't get into the sports thing because a lot of the time that's the first example. Like, oh, you know, going after people who like sports. There's nothing wrong with people who like sports. There's nothing wrong with people who like anything else that they just enjoy. You know, but I don't understand the people who say that you're wasting your time if you're playing video games. You're wasting your time. You know, you're wasting time. You're wasting your money. And then they love to go hiking. You know, they go 10 times, 15 times a year. They go out of their way to go hiking. They pay for these trips literally to walk trails up mountains and stuff. And it's like, yes, there's a physical component to the health, but you're putting all this time and energy because you like it. That's the real reason you're doing it. Because if it's the health component, there are other ways to get healthy. There are cheaper ways to get healthy. You know, it's not. You do it because you like to do it, and that's That's what mattered, because the fact that you're doing something you like to do, mentally, that right there is what's helping you. All right, this one's gonna stop in the middle. Very simple. I mean, you see that they're laying bombs. Whenever you hit them first, he'll stop moving. So even if you don't have this weapon, it's the same. You can shoot him, throw a grenade at him. But yeah, if you love doing it and it makes you happy to do, then it's worth the time and the effort that you're putting into it. Like I said, I had a really bad weekend. Some bad things happened, and this is a great escape. I'm not running away from my problems. I'm still facing them when the time comes, but for right now, let's follow Jason and his crazy ass adventure through this world, because he's looking for his frog.